Diana, can I talk with you for a minute? I have some things to ask you about regarding my wedding. What do you want to know? Also, shouldn't you be asking someone like Mom for help with something like the wedding? My husband and I never had a wedding, so we're not going to be that helpful, I feel. Well, actually, this isn't directly about the wedding. This is about the people I'm planning on inviting to the wedding. What? Do you want to just call about this? It might be easier for us to talk about all of it that way. No, I'd much rather talk to you about this through text. I feel like over the phone it'd be a bit hard for me to tell you. What are you trying to get at here? Just tell me what you have to say. I'm all ears here. I've already told you before that I plan on quitting my job since I'm getting married, right? You did say something about that to me before. And you plan to go to your husband's company after the wedding, right? Isn't he the guy running the company that you've always wanted to be a part of? Before you always complained about how you never got hired by that company, so it must be great knowing now you have an easy way of getting hired there. I know that. Well, it's actually his dad that runs the company. He just happens to be next in line when it comes to becoming the CEO. And, that means that this wedding will have a lot of very powerful people coming to see it. Well, I assumed that would be the case. So, well, I don't want to have to say this. It's not something I like to think about. Just get on with it already. Or better yet, just type me a paragraph about what you have to say, all right? I'll take a look at it later. Wait one sec. I'll tell you. What? Well, when it comes to the wedding, I don't want to invite people that don't belong there. That's what his dad is also saying. As you know, that company is very big, right? So he has to maintain a good image of his company even at the wedding. In other words... So he's told me that he doesn't want for you or your husband to come to the wedding. Is that really something that the man that'll become your father-in-law is saying? I understand that you're going to become his son's wife and all, but I am still your older sister and my husband is your brother-in-law. We would both really like to be at your wedding. So I'm a bit suspicious as to why your husband's dad wouldn't want for us to be there. Well, I said there will be a lot of powerful people at this wedding, a lot of elite people, so it's very important. If people who weren't very well off came to this wedding, it would probably spoil the mood for everyone else there. They might all start to think that the wedding is a joke, you know? So this is what your husband's dad told you? I would never say any of this myself. I would really like for you to be at my wedding, all right? What was that about not being well off? My husband and I are both working full-time and we tend to bring in some decent money. So I don't feel as though either of us aren't well off. But you both never went to college and do your own thing for work, right? You guys aren't a part of any larger company or anything, especially not a massive company like my husband's dad runs. Just because we don't work for large companies doesn't mean we're automatically poor. But of course you guys both appear to be poor based on that. From what I've heard, doing your own work as a job isn't going to really make all that much money. And since neither of you graduated from any university, that's another thing hampering your guys' image. Really, since you both have never gone through the process of job hunting even, you probably don't know much about the working world. And these are all things your husband's father is saying? That's right. Of course, I would never think things like this. I see. Then I would like to go and talk to him about my husband and I. Can you go and tell him that we'd like to meet him in person? What? You want to talk with him? Are you sure? Well, yeah, I am. I want to know why he's so against my husband and I coming to the wedding. You can't do that. If you do that, you'll only be making the situation worse. But you want for us to be there at the wedding, right? I do, but... And that's why I would like to go and see why he won't let the bride's sister and brother-in-law come to her wedding. I'm sure we can help him understand that we aren't some kind of low-life monsters. I don't want to make a huge deal of this, though. After all, this isn't just about the wedding, but my chances of working for that company. I've already left my previous company, and it would be a real shame if I wasn't able to get into the company of my dreams, right? Diana, please understand what I'm saying here. It's really difficult for me to ask this of you, but I can't let my chances of working for that company slip away from me. So you're just going to let him think your older sister and her husband are lowlifes and not fight for your family? I understand that you would still like to celebrate my marriage with me, so after the wedding is over with, we will come and see you guys. By the way, you said you guys moved out of your old place, right? So I have no idea where you're living at now. It might take me a few days after the wedding, but I'll come out to see you guys in your new place, as well as pick up the wedding gifts you have for me, all right? I find it very strange that your own older sister isn't allowed to come and see your wedding. And the reason we're not allowed to be there is because of what your in-laws think of me? And what they think is that because I never went to college and worked for myself, I am poor? I'm not okay with anyone thinking things like that of me, so I need to go have a word with him. How are you even going to talk to him? You don't have his number or email, right? Don't worry, your older sister will figure something out. Wait, Diana, you can't do that! I don't want you to make this situation into a battle for me. I'm asking you to please stop all of that. All right, Morgan. I'll do my best not to make any problems out of this. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Harrison. Do you have a little bit of time to spare?
Yeah, of course I do. I'm assuming this is about business. I would just like to say that myself and my company are very thankful for the deal we've struck up with you, so thank you.
And I am very pleased myself that we were able to work out such a deal with you. My husband is very happy as well, and we think the contracts we've made will do everyone well going ahead.
I love hearing that from you and your husband. I'll make sure to let my heads in the HR department know of this so they can spread the good news.
Now that we've gotten that out of the way.
Is there something else you'd like to talk about? If this is about some concerns you might have still, I can get someone to talk with you about that right away.
No worries, this has nothing to do with work. I just wanted to ask you why you might think that because my husband and I both never went to college and run our own business, you think of us as lowlifes? If that seems to be how you really feel about the two of us, then I'll have no other choice but to cancel those contracts we plan on having. However, I really don't want to have to do that, hence why I wanted to confirm with you yourself about how you truly feel about my husband and I. That's why I've contacted you today, Mr. Harrison.
Excuse me? But what are you talking about?
Your son and my little sister Morgan are going to have a wedding soon, right? I'm aware they aren't even married yet, but my sister seems to think things are so well between your son and her that she calls him her husband already.
I'm aware of the upcoming wedding. I was so happy to use the chance for families meeting one another as a way of starting business with you a while back, especially now that we have plans to sign an official contract and everything. Both my son and I are very thankful for the relationship he has with your sister. The wedding is being planned to be the largest, most decadent ever thrown at the location, so I hope you're looking forward to it.
And you happened to tell my sister not to invite us as you're afraid that by having two so-called lowlifes at the wedding, it would ruin the atmosphere.
She told you that I said that about you both?
Did you not make those claims?
Of course I didn't. I know that this wedding is a major event for everyone that's involved, and I'm even one of the proud sponsors of it. But I would never ask that you and your husband stay away from it.
Is that so?
I'm not at all sure why Morgan would say that I feel that way about you two, but both myself and my family are looking forward to having you there. I'm sure your sister and your family must feel the same way, right? I don't think there should be anyone asking for you and your husband to stay away.
Hearing that from you has really relieved some of my stress. And that's what I was expecting to hear from you as well, but I just had to be sure.
That's what you were expecting to hear as well.
Well, I just never expected you, of all people, to say things like that about myself and my husband. Now, is there one more thing I can ask you before we stop talking?
What's that?
Well, if I were to not show up on the day of your son's wedding to Morgan, would you be able to take it upon yourself to rethink letting your son marry her?
Why would you ask me something like that? I'm not really sure what that all means exactly.
Well, if I'm not at that wedding and you still allow those two to get married, then I will have to rethink that contract we want so badly.
Wait a second, please. What is going on here?
Well, when the time comes, I can explain what I mean. If I told you what I meant now, then you'd try to do everything in your power to stop what might happen. I would just like for us all to wait for the truth to be revealed, and from there we can all make the correct decisions.
I'm not really sure what all of this means. But if you don't show up to that wedding, then guess I'll have no choice but to cancel and take my son away from Morgan for you. After all, that would be in the best of both of our interests, right?
Correct. Now for the time being, let's just all continue looking forward to that wedding. And wish for both your son and my sister to become happily married. Diana, why didn't you listen to what I told you before? I talked to you before about how my father-in-law didn't want you to come to this wedding, right? You have to understand that I came here regardless of what he said because I'm your sister. Well, so far not everyone has come here yet besides some of the family, but as time goes on, more and more of the guests will be coming. A lot of my father-in-law's shareholders and those that he considers respectable will all be coming here. Even some of his most important customers will be coming. So please, do not stick around for the rest of this wedding once it starts. Just take your husband and go. I have one thing to ask you first. You're telling me that the groom's father doesn't want either myself nor my husband here, right? I really don't want to have to tell you things like this. But he happens to see a lot of potential in this wedding as well. So, yes, it is terrible for him to ask that you and your husband both stay away, but it's for the best when it comes to his company. I myself don't like the idea of having you both go because it might ruin things between our families. I really, really don't want you both leaving. I love you so much and want to make sure that we stay close to one another forever. But this is what my father-in-law wants. So you seem to love me very much. Of course I do. Are you sure? What are you trying to say? I love you, and that's why I don't want to hurt you. This wedding is going to have a lot of elite people here, as well as a lot of very rich people. There's no telling what you might say to them, especially during the time after the ceremony. You might say things to people that my father-in-law doesn't want you talking to, and that's no good for him. So please, Diana, when people really start to pour in, would you please take your husband and leave? Morgan, tell me the truth. If you tell me the truth right now, you'll be saving yourself a lot of time. Actually, let me go ahead and tell you what I think you want to say. You really want to say to me that you don't want my husband and I here. Am I correct? This isn't what your father-in-law is saying, but what you're wanting to say, right? No, this is really what he's saying about you both right now. I see. Well, then I'm going to complain to him about this right now. He's standing right in front of my eyes right now, so I can make this quick. What? Right now, he's talking with the rest of the family in the changing room as everyone gets ready for your wedding. Wait a second. If you do that to me, it'll be no good for anyone. So then what you're really trying to tell me is that it's you that doesn't want my husband and I here and not him? Hence the reason you don't want me going up to him and complaining? You're afraid that if I do, I'll learn who really doesn't want me here right now. Look, Morgan, now is your only chance to quit it with all this crap and tell me the truth. This isn't about what one person is saying about us. What are you saying? Are you seriously going to keep trying that with me? Well, I guess this is always how you've been. You've always told me what you've been wanting to say to me, but while saying it came from someone else's mouth. Also that you wouldn't look like the jerk, right? That's not true at all. What about the times you'd tell Mom I didn't want chicken for dinner when it was really you who hated chicken? Or what about those times you told me my friends didn't want to play with me anymore when it was really you that didn't want me going out and having fun with them? You would always try making yourself look like the victim, or would always try to make it seem like you were everyone's friend. I felt this kind of emotion from you for a very long time as well, Morgan. That emotion, of course, being hate. I told you, you have it all wrong. You really think I haven't noticed what's going on here? I know about how you've been the one talking crap about me behind my back to everyone. And how you'd sit behind bushes throwing rocks at me, and then later say you saw some of my friends doing it to me. That's why once I graduated from high school, I immediately left the house and your bullcrap. So tell me what you really think. I never wanted for some moneyless lowlives to come to my frickin' wedding. There we go. I knew that was how you felt all this time, yet you proceeded to beat around the bush for way too long. You and your husband both never went to college and have to rely on yourselves for income now. So I don't want either of your moneyless bodies coming in and sitting with the rest of my family today. Do you not see that the rest of the people here are on completely different levels from you both? I am finally getting married into a family who is known for their massive company. In other words, I finally struck gold and will never have to worry about money again. Yet I'm struck with embarrassment by the thought of two poor losers coming in and sitting with my family. So let me tell you right now that I don't want either you or that idiot husband of yours here any longer. So what you're saying is that I'm an embarrassment to you and to the family? That's 100% right. Has there ever been a family not embarrassed by their uneducated and poor family member before? Of course there hasn't been one. So with that, you two uneducated and moneyless freaks leave my wedding right now. Well then, that's it for the contract. What? Contract? What are you going on about? What I'm talking about right now is the contract your husband's father's company made with my husband and I. Huh? I have no idea what contract you're going on about. What's the company that your soon-to-be father-in-law runs? He runs a company dealing in food. The company happens to run a bunch of restaurants as well and supplies a bunch of other restaurants and stores with food. The company's also manufactured and still manufactures all kinds of frozen foods as well as freeze-dried foods. It's the company whose food probably goes into everyone's mouth. And I've been wanting to join the new department that was created to develop new kitchen appliances. All right then. And did you know that the company was planning on putting all their products into supermarkets all over the country, as well as into all sorts of gas stations and convenience stores? It's expected for that company to roll out a new way of keeping food good for longer outside of being frozen. Did you know that that's the reason why they want to start supplying supermarkets and gas stations and convenience stores? They'll have some of the best foods ready to eat on the shelf. I know about all of that. Well, the people behind the development of that new preservation technique is none other than my husband and I. What do you mean? I never explained this to you, did I? My husband and I run a restaurant. A restaurant? And while we run this restaurant, we are also doing research on ways to preserve foods in a more healthy way. We also work in making really good dishes for dieting and such, which we serve both in our restaurant and online via recipes. We even have videos on YouTube showcasing our newest ideas in the culinary world. We don't show our faces or anything online, but many people know that our business is one of the best in the dieting world. You guys run a restaurant, do research, and run a YouTube channel? Wait, is this possibly what my husband was talking about? He was going on about this huge deal he'd be making for the company with some really popular researchers. He's even been watching their YouTube videos and recreating some of the dishes they've showcased. And for this wedding, I've been on a diet using meals from that YouTube channel. Are you both the ones behind all of that? I believe that would be us he's talking about. He knew about how we have a really successful restaurant and about how we made some new advancements in food preservation, and asked if we could work together to spread that new advancement around across the U.S. We agreed to the deal being made at the time, but I'm afraid now that I'm going to have to cancel all that. This is all a lie, right? I never knew a thing about the work you did. And you never asked me about any of it either. Instead, just making fun of me for never going to college and saying that makes me poor automatically. Well, look, no single person that never goes to college should end up with a good job, right? I just assumed you worked as a part-timer and never made the kind of money a salaried worker makes. And when it comes to you and your husband, you guys never had a wedding and neither of you wear any branded clothing. It's totally normal for me to think of you both as moneyless lowlives. Neither of us care for brand clothing, and we just chose not to have a wedding where we invited anyone. To tell you the truth, we had a private wedding with just the two of us, and it took place in the Maldives. The Maldives? And for our honeymoon, we traveled the world going to all sorts of places. We got to see so many cool things in Europe and Asia, as well as experience all the amazing food. You guys traveled the world together? You're making it sound like it was nothing to you both. It wasn't nothing to us, but when you do things like that so often, it doesn't seem all that special anymore. I mean, we have to travel for our work as well, so it's become sort of this work-related thing rather than a luxury to us. Are you kidding me? You both travel that much? That must mean you both are loaded if you're able to do and say all of that. So does this mean you understand what all you misunderstood about us? Well, even if you are able to understand the people my husband and I are, we are still heading home like you asked. And I have no clue what's in store for you once your husband's dad finds out about this. What? Hold on a second. You can stay here all you want now. It was just a simple mistake on my part. And if you're saying you've made a deal with his company, that makes you a customer to him, right? If you don't stick around for the wedding today, I'll be screwed. What will everyone say if they find out I kicked you out of here? Hey, Diana. I'm so sorry, Diana. I was totally in the wrong for all of that, so please forgive me. You shouldn't be seeking my forgiveness. All I did was what you asked for, right? But after you left, things got really bad for me. My husband's father went and canceled the wedding on us and was furious at me. And even my husband says he's going to rethink our marriage. I warned him about this. Also, would you stop calling him your husband? You warned him? I said that if I don't end up showing up for the whole wedding, to rethink that marriage between his son and you. Why would you do that to me? I felt bad that he never knew a thing about the real you, but I was never going to say anything that would ruin your wedding, right? I just told him that if I'm not there, then he should rethink things is all. And, well, you told me not to be there, so... Would you stop blaming me for something I didn't do? Well, you should have just kept your mouth shut about you not being there as well. That was the plan. And you never went and kicked me out of your wedding, right? What? This is what you get for being a turd. Why did you do this to me? Right after you guys left the wedding, I had to go out to the lobby and talk to both my fiancé and his father. They both started to tear into me about how that once-in-a-lifetime deal would be ruined because of me. You did say you planned on working for that company, right? Well, you should be more aware that this company is family-based and they all rely on telling the truth to one another about everything. If someone like you, who ended up lying about what the CEO said about one of his customers being at the wedding, were to join their company, it would spell trouble for the future. So I'm sure that none of them would like you in their company anymore, would they? Well, because of all that, everybody else in the lobby, all those elites and those rich people, all heard what they had to say to me. And now I'm no longer going to be hired by them. I've already left my previous company, so now there's nowhere for me to go. Well, that's a shame for you. Why the hell did you do all of this to me? Telling him to rethink the marriage? They're now asking that I pay for the wedding's cancellation fees. This was going to be a very expensive wedding for us to show off to everyone, and now I'm going to have to pay every penny of it. And since the wedding was canceled, all the gifts to me are gone now. Like I said, it sucks to be you. They've told me they don't want a lying employee like me to be a part of their company at all. And that's the truth. What the hell is wrong with you? It's not my fault that all the crap you've dished out is coming back at you now. So please give it up with all the complaining and leave me alone. This is your problem, is it not? You're my freaking sister. Do something to save me. Do something to make things better between my father-in-law and I. Help me get everything I lost back. I don't have time for that. I have YouTube videos to make. And I have a restaurant to manage. I will apologize for everything, so please, at the very least, make that deal with their company, please. If you do that, then I'm sure they'll rethink things regarding the marriage. I'm really sorry, but I have better things to do than care about you. I mean, you're a real dick to me, so why should I bother with you at all? Please, just handle things yourself for once. No way. You paid all that money to go to such a distinguished university, but didn't seem to learn a thing about acting like an adult. Please, Diana, I promise I'll make all of this up to you. I was relying on this wedding for everything. I had to borrow loads of money for this dress and my parts of the payments. Diana? Please, just come and help me, Diana. Please. It turns out that Morgan and her fiancé were going to hand in their marriage documents right after the wedding, so that ended up falling through. And Morgan was made responsible for paying for the whole wedding. Of course, all of this meant that she would not be getting hired by her fiancé's dad's company, and when she tried to go home to our mom and dad, they turned her away. This wasn't all for Morgan, though, as everyone that was in the lobby at the time of her getting chewed out learned the truth about what kind of person she is. And this led to a lot of people completely avoiding her. As of right now, I'm aware that Morgan had to leave town and moved someplace far away from here. As for my husband and I, we decided to go through with the deal, and starting next month, our preservation technology will be used to put food into all sorts of stores and gas stations all over the U.S. I'm sure some of those stores are even located in whatever town my sister moved to, so she'll be able to see everything went fine on our end. Mom, I just wanted to ask if for tomorrow's wedding, you'd go ahead and not show up for me. I've already had your seat taken away and everything, so...
Excuse me?
So, since you have no seat now, please don't come. I'll make sure to send you pictures of the wedding and everything later, all right?
Hold your horses, Summer. Why would you ask me to stay away from your wedding day out of nowhere like that? You know I can't do that on my daughter's most important day.
Huh? Why not? The bride is asking you not to come to her wedding, so you can shut up and do as the bride is telling you, all right?
Why are you saying things like that to me now? Why don't you want me coming to my own daughter's wedding?
Well, Mom, I'd really like to cut ties to you after this. So I can't just have you coming to my wedding if I don't even want you around me anymore, right? That would make no sense.
You want to cut ties to me? Hold on, Summer. Tell me what's gotten into you all of a sudden. Telling me not to come to your wedding and saying that you want to push me away by cutting ties? Did I do something wrong to you?
Look, Mom, do you have any idea who the man is I'll be marrying tomorrow? I'm going to be getting married to the son of a very distinguished family who runs a large company. So in other words, starting tomorrow, I'm going to become a part of some very famous people. And when that happens, I'm no longer going to need some moneyless woman like you as my mom.
Moneyless woman?
Why are you so surprised by all of this? You've always been living your life with a very little income, right? Once Dad had divorced you, our home became one of very little money and a whole lot of sadness. When was the last time you bought yourself some new clothing, Mom? Like 10 years ago?
I guess we have been a smaller family now ever since your father left us and luck has not been on our side, but I have put all my energy and money into raising you to make sure you were always happy. I wanted you to never have to feel the pain of being raised by only a mother and on the income of only myself. So I would spoil you with a lot of what I earned in the hopes that you'd never notice the void he left behind. But to see you forgetting my sacrifice now and calling me a moneyless woman, it hurts.
Huh? You think I'm forgetting anything about that? I never cared enough to memorize what you did for me, so how could I be forgetting it now? If anything, the only thing I've held on to is the hate I have for you.
Huh?
Because you had to go and get that divorce with Dad, you left my life in tatters. I had to start living the life of a poor little girl in a single-parent household. Do you have any idea how many horrible memories I have from being around you?
You know the reason why your father and I had to get a divorce, right? Your father was addicted to slot machines and would never stop gambling no matter how much I told him to stop and step away. So I started to think only about you. And that led me to getting that divorce from him. It's not good to have someone addicted to gambling raising a child as well.
If you really wanted to care about me and my well-being, then where's the money I need? I I had to live for years under you with no money and with very little to entertain myself. Had you just stuck with Dad, at least then I would have had the money he won from playing slots all the time. I think being raised in a moneyless household is way worse for me than living with a gambling addict.
That's why in order to have money for you, I've put in a lot of work over the years. And it's been 15 years now since the divorce, so that's 15 years of me working for your sake. And not just working a job, but working as two parents to make sure you were raised into the person you are now. I made sure to never focus on myself, only looking at you and working towards the great future I wanted you to have. That allowed you to go and study what you wanted at the school you wanted to attend. I'm sure I never made you feel as though you were living in poverty, right?
Huh? That's strange, considering that every day I was in the same house as you, I felt like I was living in a poor man's home. I wish I had the lives all my friends had, going overseas every year for vacation with their family. I wanted to be like them, going to Disney Park every year for a week.
Well, all of those friends happen to have parents working high up in large companies, right? Especially that one girl, whose dad is the CEO. While comparing the money I was bringing in to their parents. I had worked so hard for you, Summer, and I really made sure there was enough money for you, even without your father ever paying child support.
It's your job as my parent to work hard for me, so stop acting like you're someone special for something like that. Let's be real here, you should have never married someone like Dad and had a kid with him in the first place if you knew things would never turn out well for me. Being born into a moneyless family has really caused me so much trouble. I'm a victim of someone who never cared enough about her money or her situation, and I've had to pay for your flaws for the past 15 years.
What did you say?
Someone who's done all of that to me is not going to be coming to my wedding to celebrate my happiness. That's why you're not coming to my wedding anymore. I'm going to become a somebody for once, and I don't need some moneyless woman there celebrating that. A poor woman like you, with nothing to show for, shall never come around me ever again.
Are you sure about this?
Shut the hell up, you old hag. I think I'm very sure about all of this, considering I've told you to stay away so many times now.
Then I guess I have no other option. I gave it my all raising you, but I can't just force you to let me be a part of your future anymore. Please have a wonderful life with that Alex of yours.
Of course Alex and I are going to become happily married. I don't need to hear that from you, you idiot. Hey, Jody, what do you think you're doing as the mother of the bride? Hurry up and come to the wedding right now, please.
Huh? Renee?
I heard from your daughter that you're not coming today because you don't feel well enough. But there is just no way that someone like you would be feeling so bad that you can't make it to one of the most important days in your daughter's life. Even if you have a small fever, you can manage coming here still, right? You are her mother, so please be here to see her go from your little girl into Alex's wife. Both the bride's and groom's parents have put a lot of effort into this event, so you shouldn't miss it.
Could you hold on for one moment, please, Renee? What do you mean my daughter told you I wasn't feeling well enough today?
What do I mean? She said that you're feeling sick today. She said you became so anxious about her wedding that it ended up getting you sick. That's why Summer had to tell the wedding planner you wouldn't be coming today.
I'm not feeling sick or anything, though, today. The reason I'm not there right now is because Summer told me to stay away.
What?
For some reason or another, she seems to really hate me now. Apparently, she has no use for a single-parent mother anymore. She told me that she's going to be part of a more higher-class people now, so she has to cut ties to me. And that means I can't come to her wedding anymore.
You're lying, right? Summer said all of that to you?
I do have a lot to say about it, but since this is her wedding, I can't go against what she said. If the bride is telling me to stay away, then I'm going to stay away. So, with that, I'd like for you and your husband to please celebrate a little extra in my absence. And please take good care of my daughter for me.
Why are you so calm when saying all of that to me? You're just going to let Summer get away with saying all those terrible things to you? If my son had ever said something like that to me, I would have been spanking his butt for 5 days straight.
You really are such a powerful mother, aren't you, Renee? Which is amazing considering when you and I first met, you were so calm and kind.
And I've been the one watching you raise Summer all by yourself for the past 15 years. Hearing from you what she said, it really breaks my heart. I'm sorry, Jody, but I cannot let her say things like that to someone who has sacrificed so much.
Ah, I see. I totally forgot you've been by my side ever since that divorce from my ex-husband. Time has really gone by fast, hasn't it?
That's how it feels to all of us. But listen to me, Jody. I am so upset with what I've heard. You are one of my most dear friends, and you're telling me the daughter you raised with so much love is now stabbing you in the back? I want you to hang tight for me, okay? I'm going to do something about this right now.
You don't have to do anything, Renee. I'm totally fine right now, so there's no need to worry.
But I'm not fine at all, Jody. I thought that because she's your daughter, she'd be just perfect for my son. But now I'm being told that she's the exact opposite of her mother. I have to go and do something about this. Mom, you can come to my wedding right now. I am finally all right with you being here now, so you'd better hurry up so we can get on with things.
What? Why are you talking to me again now? I thought you told me yesterday that you were cutting ties to me.
Well, there was some trouble with that, so I have to ask you to come out here now. Right now, Alex's mom is getting all up in my face complaining about things, so having you here will be the only way that'll shut her up. She keeps going on and on about how my mom isn't here and how that's really messed up of me.
I see.
I tried to tell everyone that you're not here because you're feeling sick, but she's not buying it any. So it really does hurt me to say this, but you're allowed to come now. But I'm only doing this so that my wedding isn't canceled and I can have a happy marriage with Alex, so hurry up and get over here.
I understand the situation you're in now, but I'm a bit unsettled.
Huh? Why are you unsettled? You should be over the moon with happiness now that your daughter is letting you come to her wedding. So stop what you're doing and get over here.
I'm sorry, but I can't do that now. Right now I'm out having something to eat. I have this really delicious parfait coming to my table right now, so I'm going to have to stay and eat it.
Huh? Who cares about a stupid parfait? You should be far more interested in your daughter's wedding. If you do come over here right now, I'll even play nice and forget about ever wanting to cut ties to you. So you should really want to come now, right?
Huh? You want to stop this whole cutting ties to me thing?
If having you around me is the only way to ensure I have a great wedding with the son of a very wealthy family, then I have no other choice.
What should I do here? If I had the time, I'd really like to be there to see your wedding, but this parfait looks so good.
Why are you getting stuck between a stinking parfait and your daughter's wedding? You should only be worried about your daughter's wedding, right? I'm telling you that even without any money, I'll let you come and celebrate my wedding with everyone else.
What was that?
This should be one of the biggest surprises of your life, hearing that you will finally be allowed to come to my wedding. So hurry up and get over to my wedding before I start to have a change of heart again. Does she look like some kind of toy to you? She is your mother of all people, and you're going to act and play with her like that? I have had enough of you, Summer. I'm not going to ever think of you as my daughter ever again. What? And I'm sure Jody is feeling the same way about you right now. So don't you even bother with either one of us now, because you will never be either one of our children. I'm asking you to please leave us alone, especially your mother. Wait a second. What? This isn't you, Mom? Who even is it that I'm talking with right now? This is Alex's mother, and who you might call your mother-in-law. But you guys aren't going to be having this wedding anymore, and I'm not going to let the two of you be married. So you can say goodbye to ever calling me your mother. What? Why are you using my mom's phone right now, Renee? That's because I left the wedding to come and see her. She had already told me she wasn't coming to the wedding, and you had lied to me, saying this was all about how your mother was sick or something. Well, I don't have the want to celebrate your happiness anymore after learning the truth, so I left to meet up with my friend, your mother. What? I found her sitting here at the local cafe she's always at, eating this really amazing-looking parfait all by herself. So I've joined her now and ordered one myself. Oh, it feels so wonderful to be in the presence of a good friend like her. And the nostalgia. Her and I always used to come to this place. What? What do you mean you used to always go there? Are you and my mom really that well acquainted with one another? That's right. Her and I have been friends for over 15 years now, I think. 15 years? I started to learn about her at this gathering for moms. It was a place for mothers struggling with raising their kids, dealing with their husband, and many other things to get together and talk. And that's where I had first met her. And that's why right now, her and I are best friends. What? At that point in time, when first meeting her, I was so burnt out by the stress of raising a child. Being married to a man who runs such a powerful company meant that I had to really raise my son into the perfect little prodigy to one day take over that company from his father. And the pressure from both my mother-in-law and the rest of his family was huge. And hearing about all the other moms who were raising their little prodigies, it just drove me up the wall. So I chose to one day go to a gathering for average moms, and there I ran into your mother. Hearing the stories from her made me feel like I was doing a great job myself as a mother and didn't need to worry about all the pressure on my shoulders. She even began to help lift me up, complimenting the ways I raised my boy and by giving me pointers. You're lying. You've known my mom for that long now? She was at those gatherings because she had just become a single mother and was looking for help herself. So in order to help one another out, we would both always meet up, even outside those gatherings, and even come to this exact cafe to chat about our lives and laugh a little. It was our way of finding that little bit of time in our lives as mothers to relax and be ourselves. What? So you guys have really been that close to one another? But as our kids began to get older and older, we became more separated due to time constraints. To think that one day we'd come back to one another because our kids wanted to get married? What a coincidence, right? I was so happy to see one of my best friend's daughters come to my house with my son to introduce herself. And I was really excited for today's wedding as well, Summer. But all of that excitement is lost now because of you ruining it all. If I'm not going to have any fun celebrating this wedding for you, then there's no point in having it at all. No way. I've already talked with both my husband and Alex, and I told them to cancel the wedding right now. I am not going to let there be a wedding between my son and someone I can no longer trust being my daughter-in-law. Now, that is going to be it from me. My parfait just got to the table, and I'd like to eat this with my friend. Hey, Mom, what the hell was that yesterday? Why did you never tell me that you were such good friends with Alex's mom?
I wasn't hiding that from you as some sort of secret or anything. We both decided to just keep it to ourselves, and so that's how things played out.
Huh? I have no idea what you mean by that. It wasn't a secret, yet you kept that fact from me? Why would the both of you choose to hide that from me anyway?
That's because the both of us really care about our family.
Huh?
We both met somewhere where we had to talk about all the drama and pain we were going through as mothers, right? Had we said that the both of us knew each other and we were friends, we'd most likely have to talk about those gatherings as well. I'm sure that you and Alex and his dad don't want to hear about any of that stuff right from your mothers. So we chose to just keep quiet about how we've known one another for so long.
But come on, Mom! You hiding that from me ruined my wedding. Had I known that you were good friends with Alex's mom, then I would have...
Had you known about all that, then you would have never told me that I'm a moneyless woman and never wanted to cut ties with me. You wouldn't have said any of that, but you would have still hated me deep down just the same. You would have just kept hiding that fact from me for the rest of your life. All right. I'm sure my reasoning wasn't that great, so I'm sorry for hiding the truth from you. But I'm not going to hide anything else from you, so you can relax now. Now you have a good one, Summer.
Wait, Mom! Actually, I don't want to cut ties to you anymore.
Just because I happen to know Alex's mother doesn't mean you have to force yourself to call me your mother. I'm totally fine not having you around me anymore, so let's keep this whole cutting ties to one another thing going.
I'm not forcing myself or anything. If anything, I just don't like the idea of leaving you forever, so let's give all of that up. Starting today, you and I are mom and daughter again. So, can you please go and tell this to Renee for me?
What is all this about? I don't understand what's going on here currently.
Right now, they are talking about ending the talks about marriage, and I am really scared. So I'd really like your help in fixing all this. I want you to do something to get your friend to accept my marriage to her son again. Right now, she's so furious with me that I can't even have a conversation with her.
Whew, oh no. Renee is at that level of being upset with you then.
She's at that point where the next time I try and talk to her, she might now hold back. She always tells me that she won't let me be her daughter if I can't even understand the struggle of my own mother. And that she can't let me marry Alex if I'm never going to be thankful for the 15 years of hard work you put in for me. She just keeps going on and on about how she doesn't want me in her family anymore.
Oh my.
Renee had always been so kind to me before. I thought she'd be the perfect mother-in-law for me because I'd be spoiled. But now I can see just how pissed off even she can become.
Wow. Renee has really changed from the person she was years ago. In the past, when we had first met, she was a very quiet woman who wouldn't dare talk about her own opinions. So for the longest time, I was always telling her to always tell others how you feel, no matter how nervous you are. But to see her going all out like that with you, it warms my heart.
What am I going to do here, Mom? She isn't listening to anything I'm saying to her. She just tells me that she doesn't want to see my face anymore and sends me home while pouring water all over me. Right now I'm on my way home drenched in water.
Wow, that's amazing of her.
And when it comes to Alex, he's so shocked by what he's witnessed from me. I wanted to explain to him about how you really are poor, and so I did just that. But he replied to me saying that if we really were as poor as I've said, then I would never have been acting this way towards you. He told me that if I really can't tell the difference from being poor or being spoiled, then he doesn't want to live with me. He told me that he doesn't want to be stuck with someone that thinks they can be treated to everything, not because they were poor and without money, but because they were spoiled.
This really is such an awful time for the both of you then, huh? But I suppose he is right to say that I have spoiled you and that you are nothing more than a whining little brat.
So please, Mom, help me. You're the only person that can do something to fix all of this. You can go to them and get them both to agree to letting me into their family again.
What? You think I want to deal with all that?
If you don't do anything about this, I'm seriously going to lose my only chance at becoming rich. Are you trying to tell me you're fine with your daughter's happiness being destroyed? You should be saddened by something like this as my mom. If you really love me as your baby girl, then you'll do something to fix all of this.
Well, I'm not really thinking of you as my daughter anymore.
What?
So you can go ahead and cry all you want, but your problems have nothing to do with me. If you want them both to let you into their family, then you have to find a way to rebuild the trust you had with them before. You have already cut ties with me, and I have done the same with you. So please stop asking me for help.
Wait, you're kidding, right? You're just going to throw me away now?
The one who did that first was you to me, right? So would you please cut it out with that I'm the victim BS?
But I told you that I'm not cutting ties to you anymore. Please, Mom, don't say such hurtful things to me.
Jeez. I am not your mother anymore. So please stop calling me things like Mom.
Huh?
I told you already, right? I no longer view you as my daughter. So would you please stop thinking of me as your mother now?
But, Mom!
Nope.
Well, then what am I going to do from now on? The chance is very high that I won't be able to marry Alex anymore, and now you're telling me you're no longer my mom? I'm going to be left all by myself after all this?
It's all right, Summer. You still have your father, right? Although he's still addicted to gambling and I think in prison right now. But you still have some family left.
What?
So have a great life there, Summer. If you do ever have a chance to get married, good luck having kids. You want to go on vacations overseas every year and to Disneyland as well? Make sure to give them the most rich lives you always wanted from me. That marriage between Summer and her fiancé Alex ended up not ever happening in the end, as Alex left her very soon after the canceled wedding. It seems that Summer wasn't able to do anything about Renee being so against her, and Alex being so shocked by that. It turns out that I wasn't the only person that Summer began to brag to about becoming an affluent woman, but she did the same to her friends. Telling them all that she no longer had any need for her moneyless friends and would be saying goodbye to them all. But in the end, she is now stuck living life with nobody around to help her and having to manage on her own. Just before the wedding, Summer had also quit her job, and so as of right now, she is working a low-paying job trying to figure out what to do with herself. When it comes to myself, this whole relationship between Summer and Renee's son has led me back to meeting with my longtime friend again. So we happened to go out to that cafe a lot more together again and talk about how excited we are to have our kids out of the house now. And because of that, we started working on plans to take a vacation to the Bahamas or something to help ourselves unwind a little.
Taylor, is it really true that John's condition has gotten even worse now? I heard that things have only gotten worse, so I needed to make sure that it was true. He has gotten worse. This weekend he had to be taken into the ICU for his health. But right now he's doing a lot better again and has been moved back into his room to be looked after. As of right now, he's even able to have small conversations again. What? He was able to make a comeback from that? Huh? I'm really happy to see he's made a comeback. Same here. But it's going to be some time before there's any hope of him getting out of here. Do you think you have any time this weekend to come in and see him? He would like to see all of his grandkids. I'm sure that would make my dad really happy seeing you all, and it might even make him recover even more quickly. I don't want to go see him. Hospitals have this smell to them that makes me feel sick, so it's not going to happen. What? Also, for people like him being that sick, they tend to get really thin because they can't eat as much anymore, and that's just scary to me. If I were to show the kids their grandpa while he's in that state, they might be traumatized for the rest of their life. So that's what this is about. Then how about just you and your husband come to see John this weekend? Just come in for a few minutes to see and talk to him, and that should be enough. Even the doctor is saying that would be really good for John to see some of his family soon. No way am I going there. I hate going to the hospital, and Greg is really busy with his job right now. We don't have the time or want to go and see John at the hospital right now. Are you sure? Also, there's the whole thing with his health getting even worse recently, so perhaps it's time we start preparing for the worst. Do you have any idea where John's bank information and checkbook might be? Do you know how much money he's ready to be given away as inheritance? And do you know how much he has in terms of stocks right now? What? He's going to be kicking the can pretty soon here, so it's best we start preparing for his inheritance to come through. I'm sure he's totally fine just having you at the hospital watching over him, so you can continue doing that if you want. I'll manage everything that has to do with his money and properties, all right? Don't say something so messed up as that, Brinley. What do you mean he's going to be kicking the can soon anyway? Right now, your father-in-law is trying his best to fight through this sickness. He is going to make it through this and come back home to see everyone really soon. So would you quit talking about how he's going to die like that? I understand how you want to feel about all of this, I really do. But I think it's best that we prepare for the worst, just in case. We wouldn't want to be wasting our time later on with all this when we'll want to be focused on mourning him, right? You stop all that right now. There's no point in dealing with any of his money right now anyway, right? You're too busy to come and see him in the hospital, so you must be too busy to deal with any of that right now. So leave all of this talk about his inheritance be. Greg, where are you right now? I have been telling you to come to the hospital as quickly as you can. Your dad has finally gotten out of this hospital, but as soon as we got him home, he collapsed again.
Do you have any idea what time it is? I get that it's an emergency for you, but come on, it's 3 a.m. for me. Once I've gotten my beauty sleep, I'll come to the hospital. I'm sure it's just the same old thing with him anyway, and he'll be around for me still when I get up. Once things are all handled over there and I'm awake from my sleep, I'll be over there.
I'm not messing around right now, Greg. You get your butt in here right now and see your dad. He is not doing well at all, and his breathing is getting really shallow. I think this might be it for him.
What?
So please hurry up and get to the hospital. This is not the time for you to be sleeping, all right? This might just be your last chance to ever talk to your dad again.
Are you kidding me? In other words, this means my time has come as well.
Excuse me?
Nothing, Mum. Don't worry about it. I'll be on my way to the hospital right now. I'm going out to the car right now, so just wait for me a little longer.
Hey, Brinley? What the heck do you think you're doing? What do you think you're doing kicking me out of there like that? The funeral is going to be starting really soon, you know? Hurry up and let me back into the building right now. I'm sorry, Taylor. There is a lot of appeal in this funeral for your son and I, so can you please just shut up and go home? Greg and I are going to be handling everything from now on, so you can go back home and mourn your husband in silence. Also, you happen to be in our way today, so please just get lost. I'm in the way? What the hell are you and Greg planning to do today with me not at my husband's funeral? I understand that Greg is the oldest of my kids, but he does not get to make the rules like that. Especially when he has no idea who all is going to be there for the funeral today. I'm sure he has an idea of what to expect, so don't worry about him. What? And what is this about today having a big appeal to the both of you? Do you both not understand that today is the funeral of my husband? Your guys' father? And I'm saying that because of that, today will have a lot of appeal to it. The CEO of the company has passed away, so now it's time for his oldest son, Greg, to take the reins and run the company. In other words, today is the day for him to make a name for himself. Huh? Of course, there will be plenty of other family members here today, but there's also going to be all sorts of bigwigs from all kinds of companies here to mourn your husband. So this is Greg's chance to make himself look good to all of them and secure his future as the next CEO. And standing next to him today will be me, the CEO's wife. I'm so glad on a day like today, both Greg and I went to the salon before this and got ourselves looking all sharp and ready for what we have to show off today. So this is what you've both been waiting for all along? You both even went to the salon together before this and got your hair done and everything? Would you please cut the crap right now, Brinley? The point of this funeral is to mourn the loss of my husband. It is not a place for you and Greg to be showing off and trying to make yourselves look good for the business. I have no idea what's gotten into the both of you thinking this funeral is meant to be a place where you need to appeal to all of those other company men. And the fact that Greg said it's his time as well now? Please do not ruin my husband's funeral like this just for your guys' selfish desires. The only person here that needs to cut the crap is you, Taylor. Your husband just died on us, and the next person in power is going to be your oldest son, Greg. Do you really think it's okay for you to be talking to the most powerful man in this family's wife like that right now? Huh? I totally understand that you still have a lot of emotions flowing through you as your husband only just passed away. But could you please pull yourself back to reality for me? After your husband's gone, it's the oldest son's turn. And since that's just happened, you are no longer the queen of the family. All you are now is some powerless old woman that we could honestly do better off without. Excuse me? I'm sure the only reason you have all that confidence in yourself right now is due to the power that your husband gave you. But those days are over for you now, so please give it up and let us take the wheel. Your days of being the ruler in the family and telling me what to do have died along with your husband's days of being the CEO. And since when have I been telling you what to do, Brinley? Huh? Tell me when you haven't been. How about that? Telling me to come see your husband as he was dying, even though I don't care for him, and telling me to bring my kids along to see him, even though his sickly body would have scared the crap out of them. Seriously, every time you tried telling me to do things, it really pissed me off. It's a waste of time to go out and see some old geezer that's about to die. Why would I ever want to do that? Did you really think that by having Greg and I there to talk to him and see him with you, he'd start to recover from whatever BS sickness he had? What the hell do you think you're saying right now? What do I think I'm saying? Well, I'll tell you. But not with words. You'll just have to wait and see, because right now I can't handle you in that attitude anymore. The funeral's about to start soon as well, so I don't have time to waste on you. I know we were just getting to the good stuff, but that'll have to wait. I'm finally going to be the wife of a CEO, and I can't believe just how much I am smiling at a funeral. What? The wife of a CEO? That's right. Remember that since now your husband is dead, he's going to be leaving a lot of money behind for us. So we're going to be taking all of that money and everything, as well as taking over the company he's left for Greg. I thought that was pretty clear to you already, though. But anyway, once he's the CEO, I'm going to be the CEO's wife, right? Did you know that ever since I was a little girl, I had always wanted to be the wife to some super wealthy CEO? So now that my dream is finally coming true for me, I just can't stop myself from smiling. I think I've had enough of you both. Especially you, though, Brinley. Kicking me out of the funeral and then taking it over as though it's meant to be about you both. And not just that, but now you think you have access to all my husband's money and his company, which has led you to grin like some maniac? You really are such a shameless woman. Well now, I'm going to have to hide this smile for the time being and put on a more serious and saddened face to trick the masses. It would be pretty wrong for me to be smiling at a funeral of all places, right? Well, you've been pretty messed up this whole time, so why hide it at all? I'm trying to text Greg right now, but he seems to be ignoring me. For some reason, I'm getting the feeling that all this isn't going to play out in your guys' favor, though. Now, I'd like you to leave the premises at once and head back home with your mouth shut for us. The CEO of the company has struck out, and the next up to bat is his oldest son. And me being his wife means that I'll become the wife of a CEO. Greg isn't even a part of the company. What? Yet you still believe that he's going to be able to get into the company and become the CEO of it right away? You must be so excited about becoming the wife of a CEO that you totally forgot about common sense. I'm sorry, but the next CEO of the company has already been decided. And of course, since Greg hasn't been working for the company at all, he is not going to be the CEO. If you understand that now, I want you to open the door for me and let me back inside. What do you mean he's not been working for the company? Greg has told me that ever since he graduated from college, he's been working for his dad's company. And when was it that he told you that? It's been 3 years now since Greg was fired from his dad's company. Huh? He was fired? Yep. He was awful at all of the work he was left to do, and that really started to piss his dad off a lot. Of course, when he got fired, it was during a time where he was supposed to be taking care of a really important customer to the company. But he cried about having to do all that work and bolted from his responsibilities. That then pushed his dad over the edge, and he said he was no longer going to deal with Greg anymore. Although my husband's first thoughts were to make Greg the next CEO someday, those thoughts quickly disappeared, and the next thing he knew, he was firing Greg. What? Wait. I never heard anything about all those events. Also, Greg has been going to work like nothing's changed forever now. Perhaps right after being fired, he was able to find some other company that hired him. I'm not sure where he could be working now, but Greg is your guys' oldest son, right? And that means he should be the next in line to take on the company from your husband. Nope. John has made it very clear to everyone at the company that the next person to be the CEO will be his son, Marcus, Greg's little brother. John told everyone that he couldn't trust his oldest son with taking on the company, so he'd be letting his second oldest handle everything next. Huh? He's letting Marcus be the next CEO? And he told that to everyone in the company already? He even wrote that down in his will. What? You were the one that told me to start thinking about all of that while my husband was still in the hospital, right? About things like his inheritance and properties? I took that as meaning I did need to get on top of some of those things, so I went and started talking to John about everything he would be leaving behind. Also, when he was out of the hospital for a day, he got one of his lawyers to come over and we wrote a new will. And you're telling me that part of the will says for Marcus to take over the company next? Unlike his dad, Marcus is a very calm and composed man. But even so, he happens to be very good at doing business and has the proof to show for it. Even other employees within my husband's company say great things about how well he does his work. For a little while, he had only been working with his dad after Greg got fired, of course, and started learning what it means to lead a company. So this was always going to happen. Marcus becoming the next CEO. But just to make sure there'd be no hiccups, we wrote it down in John's will. You're lying. There's no way. The next CEO should be the oldest. And Greg is the oldest son to John. I've never even heard of an instance where the oldest was skipped and the next in line was given the company. Well, John had no other choice. His oldest was far less competent at his job than he had thought. Huh? I'm so happy that today Marcus wasn't able to make it to the funeral. I'm sure he feels bad about having to be in New York for a business trip and all right now, but at least he doesn't have to be here when his stupid older brother and moron sister-in-law are right now. I'm sure if he was, then things would only become more messy for him. There's no way this is happening. Even Greg was saying that his time had come to me. He was so freaking excited to be the next CEO of his dad's company. Well, I can go tell him the truth right now for you, so please let me inside the building. And honestly, I'm not going to worry too much about you both believing in a fairy tale because I want to focus on my husband's funeral. Everyone else is patiently waiting for the funeral to begin, so please let me in right now. Wait. Who cares about the funeral right now? Greg and I are far more important at the moment. This is about my dream, after all. Right now, that dream is in danger of never coming true for me. So this is not the time for people to be worried about someone who's already dead. Well, if that seems to be the case for you, then I want you to go home right now. I'm not holding back anymore. I am going to the front of the building right now, and I'll let the funeral director know that you no longer should be allowed in this funeral. Actually, I'll let them know that both you and my oldest son are not allowed in here. Then you both can be escorted out by them.
Mum, what is all this about? Why am I not allowed to become the next CEO? It's not too late to make me the CEO yet. Tell that Marcus to let me be the CEO right now.
That Marcus happens to be the man your dad chose to make the CEO. He said so in his will. So I'm not going to just ask Marcus to give up the role his late father asked him to be in.
The frickin' will? Who cares what Dad said? He's dead now. Why can't you just let me be the CEO? It's not like he'll ever know that I was made the CEO, right?
What are you talking about, Greg? I will not allow you to talk about your dad and his final words like that.
But what's going on here is stupid. I get that Dad fired me from the company in the past, but I just assumed that after Dad died, you'd be willing to let me back into his company. I've believed this whole time that you would understand that the role of CEO should be going to the oldest son next. You're screwed up, Mum.
I'm not the one that's screwed up. It's you and your wife that are. What the hell happened to telling your wife that you were fired 3 years ago? Why were you trying to hide all of that from her?
I wasn't trying to hide anything from her. I just got lucky and made the money we needed from some slot machines.
Slot machines? In other words, you gambled for the money you needed? Hold it right there. So you're telling me that you didn't even end up getting hired by another company after being fired? What the hell have you been doing ever since your dad fired you?
I gave up on working and have been making all the money I need from slot machines. I've been on a massive winning streak for a while now, so I brought in more than enough money to support both myself and Bryn Lee.
You are a dad, Greg. You have children. And yet you're telling me that this whole time you've been risking your whole family's future on some slot machines? What the hell have you been thinking?
I thought that after Dad died, I'd be able to get back to work for his company. Hell, I thought I'd be back in his company long before he died. I thought me trying to act all sad and depressed around him would get him to hire me back because he felt bad. Yet for the past few years, he never talked to me, so I never had a chance to lie to him about how I was feeling. This year, he decided to get sick. It's not my fault that I had to continue gambling while Dad was fooling around by not ever talking to me and then getting deathly ill.
For Christ's sake.
Yet now I have to sit here listening to you telling me that Marcus is getting the company. If that's how things are going to be, then who cares about that stupid company? Just give me the dang money he's left for me, and I'll shut up about everything. I'll make sure to use all the money I'm getting to continue my winning streak at the casino. Did you know that I've started to go into debt waiting for Dad to get back to me about letting me work for him again? I've had to take out loans in order to keep playing the slots. If I don't start breaking even here, things are going to become really bad for me.
You've been taking out loans now?
I'm sure that Dad has loads of money in his savings that will be coming to me, right? Yeah, half will be going to you, of course, but the other half will be for his sons. But Marcus is going to be getting the company, so you can give my part and his to me. He's not going to need any of that money, right? So give me the money, and while you're at it, give me whatever stocks he has as well, right?
Greg, I have some very bad news for you. Your dad doesn't actually have all that much money left after he passed away.
Huh? What the hell are you saying, Mum? There's no way he doesn't have tons of money still. He was the one that built that company and has been the CEO of it for over 40 years. You both happen to have that massive house, and he has multiple other properties. And what about all those high-end cars he drives? How the hell are you able to tell me he doesn't have much of anything when he's got all of that?
I'm sure you knew about how your dad ran his company all by himself, right? And of course he has a lot of land and some pretty nice cars that he drove around a lot when he was younger. But over time he's been putting all those things into his company, and now the cars and land are considered company assets. He left me with enough money to keep me happy, but the rest has all been put into the company and is not included in the will.
Huh? Then, what's going to happen with all the money I owe? I thought Dad would have hundreds of thousands to give to me after he died. I just assumed that I'd be able to pay off all the loans after he died and be able to play more slots without going into any more debt. I thought this would be it for me, and I'd never have to worry about going into debt or having to work a job again.
You can think about what you need to do next by yourself. If you can't find a way to help your family by yourself, then you open up to Brinley about the whole truth and have her help you. And as for that debt, well, you were the one that got yourself into that mess, so you're going to have to try something in order to pay it all off. I might be getting a lot of money from your dad, but it's only enough to keep myself happy through my later years. I have something I really need to ask from you, Taylor. Can you please make Greg the CEO of the company? I'm sure that everyone within that company, as well as all the customers, want him to be the next CEO. I know for a fact if you don't make the oldest son the next CEO, then you'll be making the whole company look bad. Well, listen to this, Brinley. All of the employees within the company, as well as all the other businesses that are customers to it, have asked for Marcus to be the CEO. He's already been around all of them for years now, and every single person trusts that Marcus can get the job done right. But there is one very important problem with Marcus. He isn't even married yet, so what's going to happen to the company after he's passed away or retires? That's why right now you need to take this moment and make Greg the CEO of that company before it's too late. Huh? You're worried about what happens to the company after Marcus? I'm sure that Marcus might be good at the work he does, but he doesn't have a woman, and it seems like he never will. As far as I'm aware, he's never even had a girlfriend before, right? So there's no hope for him ever getting married now. And that means he's never going to have any kids who will be around to take on the company after him. But when it comes to your oldest son and his wife, they happen to have a really, really cute little boy, right? If you make Greg the CEO of the company right now, then there's hope that the company will continue on in this family's history. So you're trying to use your own son as a way of getting the company? Well, Brinley, did you know that you have no voice in telling Marcus who he can and can't choose as the next CEO of the company? He doesn't have to give it to anyone in the family next. He has every right to pass it on to one of his best employees, or he might even want to sell the company to someone else. So, nobody, not myself, nor you, nor Greg, has any right telling him what to do with the company when he retires. I probably won't even be around by that point, so there's nothing I can do about it. No way! I've heard about the debt your husband is in right now. I understand that you and him are trying to do everything you can to get any money left by my husband, but you need to give up. Don't tell us to give up like that! It's not as simple as you might think. Right now, our lives are on the line. Right now, Greg is in debt $30,000 to loan sharks. Really? That much? You have to do something to help us pay all of it off. This is your son's debt we're talking about. Also, I happen to be suffering a lot because of it, so as my mother-in-law, you need to help me, please. You shut the hell up right now, you complaining witch. You are both frickin' adults now with children and need to learn how to take responsibility for yourselves. I don't give a crap about that guy's debt, and I never will. Also, he happens to be your husband, so do your dang job and support him through this tough time. Back when my husband was building his company, he got into 100,000's worth of loans, and we worked together to pay all that off. So you can handle 30,000, you baby. You might have been able to handle all that, but I can't. I might be his wife, but I just can't. Then go ahead and divorce the sad loser. It's your freaking life after all, so you decide what you want with it. Now that's it from me. I can sympathize with all the crap you're going through right now, but you have to take responsibility for it and handle it. But wait, Taylor. Are you going to leave the both of us? Aren't you going to help us out at least a little? You know dang well I'm leaving you both. I hate you guys with every bit of my heart. What? You tried to kick me out of my husband's funeral. You then went around smiling about the fact that you could use his funeral to make yourselves look good. I don't plan on ever forgiving either one of you for something as cruel as that. Yet now you're asking for my help? Absolutely not. No, wait, Taylor, that was, No, I'm going now. I don't hold any of this against my little grandkids you've given to me, but you and Greg deserve to receive all of my hate. So I really hope that you two can figure something out, for their sakes. And after that, those two idiots went to Marcus begging for him to help them on their hands and knees while they both sobbed and sobbed. So, being the kind and reserved man that he is, Marcus went and brought them into one of the factories he started to run. At first, both Greg and Brinley weren't given a very good wage or much time off from work, and they complained about it a lot. Greg would even take it up to the factory's manager at times and say that he was the brother of the CEO and deserved better. To which the manager would reply, saying that the CEO gave him permission to fire those two at any time he wanted. After saying that, Greg never once complained about the job again, and both he and Brinley have continued their work in that factory. According to some rumors, that manager actually went to school with Brinley, where she would bully him all the time. So who's to say for sure what kind of hell he's putting her through right now there? Well, as for the time being, those two idiots are going to be sweating their butts off for years to come, trying to make whatever money they can in order to pay off Greg's debt.
Thank you for watching all the way until the end. If you felt good after watching this video, please like the video. If not, please leave a comment and give us your feedback. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Your comments and likes help this channel grow. We hope you enjoy our other stories as well.